Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakal double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching the truth and sincerity, and a shout out to Yakim that's out there on four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Bracha Tum. So, anyhow, it looks like Esau's been butthurt about the video game Mortal Kombat 11. Just, not even a 2 minute video ending of Jax, which he wanted to right a wrong at the very end of his character, and undo all the slavery and everything else that had been done here since we've been brought to Babylon the Great. But rather that we be welcomed as kings, which is our rightful place. So Esau's butthurt about it because well, Esau was butthurt about Black Panther, which is another fictional movie where it shows us in rulership. Anything that shows us in rulership and shows them as the lower lives, they don't seem to like that. But Esau has, through his iconoclasm and the changing of times and seasons, and making himself to be God and the angels and the prophets, has been a false narrative. But that false narrative has been destroyed. Now with more artifacts being dug up showing that the people that are, especially the Egyptian ones that have been pulled up, as well as everything else, there's just no way that Benjamin, not a Jew, could actually be those people. So, the mask has been uncovered, and the fact is, that's not very popular nowadays to be an Edomite, And I'm just resurfacing what Brother Malcolm I was already going into, that they have to put up signs, at their colleges saying that it's okay to be white, But white America is being brought down to a low, to a point that it ain't very popular anymore, to say that I'm proud to be an American, I'm proud to be white. It ain't such a popular thing anymore. Now it's really looked down upon, Their shame is being uncovered. As we know who's behind all the terror groups, that America supports all the terror groups, and that these terror groups, have America's fingerprints all over it. Everybody knows about ISIS. Everybody knows about Al-Qaeda. That these groups were funded purposely by the USA to overthrow Syria, to overthrow Libya. And we now know about the deception of this newer group called the Libyan National Army, which is not even that. It's really just a bunch of terrorists, but they use that name. Kind of like the FSA, the Free Syrian Army, which is now molded into the Syrian Democratic Forces. Making you think that it's the government of, but no. So that's what's happening there. And we know that, Libya and Gomer, which is Turkey, all these are mentioned in Ezekiel's prophecy. And we're seeing more things leading towards this prophecy, especially with the U.S., and their sanctions against Iran, and the rest of the countries say, no, man, we're still going to continue our trade with Iran. We don't care what America says. So the weak are saying that they are strong, and America, is in no position to threaten them. But because, they've been threatening everything else, you can see, though, that people are pulling away from the dollar. Gas prices are going up. Even at the cheapest place you could get, it's about $3.89 a gallon over here. And in other states, I think California is one of the highest, but either way, though, it's getting to be almost $4 a gallon, and that's at the cheaper places. And that's because the U.S. couldn't have their way in Venezuela, and they can't have their way with Iran without going to war first, But there's going to be one big problem. Russia. Russia's going to continue to block them. So America doesn't have a foot to stand on. Isaiah chapter 47 verse 11 says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt know when it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. People don't think that Jacob's trouble is right around the corner. They don't see the bigger picture, that these purposed weather storms that have been happening were deliberately to destroy crops, and that Venezuela was really just a testing ground for what they're about to do over here, the famine. People don't think that there's a famine coming, but it's going to get to the point that you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade. Remember Live Aid that came out back in 1985? when Cush was cursed with famine and pestilences. It's going to be worse than that over here in America. But there ain't going to be no Live Aid. There ain't going to be no Farm Aid. Not this time. Nope. Because the Most High has grievance with this place. Pretty much has a judgment against this place. And it's going to fall upon you wicked, you 2/3. And the majority of the 2/3 are in fact women who have been living deliciously, who have been laughing at us and mocking at us and telling jokes. You know, the time has come where pretty much the laughing and joking is about to cease. Stand now with thine enhancements and the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou labored from thy youth. If so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so, thou mayest prevail. And that's just it. The witchcraft, the news media and all that, they don't have their strong point anymore. Most people are awakened as to what's going on. You know, pretty much most people are against the wars, even though their propaganda machine tries to convince people that, oh yeah, that Bashar al-Assad is this evil dictator and that he needs to be taken out because, you know, he has weapons of mass destruction. That shit don't work anymore. Not like it did with Saddam Hussein. You know, people are well aware of the sorceries that Esau tries to make to get people to believe it, but they don't believe it anymore. They question everything. And this is a very good thing. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly procrastinators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. So pretty much their media machines being destroyed. You know, we all know that Alex Jones was a paid decoy and they try to come up against the Israelites and it's not working anymore. We're standing on our own 2 feet. We're coming out here and prophesying, even though Esau's coming at us. But eventually, though, it will get to a point that the famine of the word will also come in among all the physical famines. You know, we're seeing all these places of idol worship being destroyed as well, and for lots of reasons. But most of all, because the Most High is coming back. Behold, they shall be as a stubble as the fire burn them. What's I talking about? Talking about them thermonuclear missiles that are going to consume this place with affirmative heat. And in 1 hour, this place will be destroyed to be found no more. The place of our slavery will be coming to its end shortly. There shall not be a coal to warm it, and not a fire to sit before it. They shall be turned unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander, every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. So when America gets destroyed, ain't nobody going to save this place. Ain't going to be no Live Aid, ain't going to be no Farm Aid. Pretty much, it's going to be destroyed. And it's going to be destroyed piece by piece. You know, inch by inch. This place was pretty much founded upon slavery and stealing that of which doesn't belong to them. What do you think is going to happen? The army after next, aka the UN, is going to take over this place and put martial law on the streets, going to control everything. And who's going to be in control of that new world order? Well, the old world order is where America was controlling everything. No, man, Putin, Russia wants to be that new world order. And he's going to get it because the Most High is going to allow that. But then after conquering America and then eventually destroying it, then they're going to come against the Most High. You know, and it's going to be a beautiful thing because at that point, though, America will have been destroyed, the place of our slavery. And then they're going to try to fight against the Most High. And they're all going to be brought down to a low. And we're going to enslave the rest of them for everything that they've done to us. And all the nations are going to get it because all were partakers in it. You know, the slave Bible, stretched Christianity, you know, taken away from the fact that we were the real Israelites and what the images of the Most High actually look like, the iconoclasm, all those things are being brought to a low now. That's why these temples are being destroyed, because everybody knows that the Son of Man wasn't a so-called white man. Everybody knows that Caesar Borgia was in fact he was an Edomite, or Alexander, Pope Alexander. And these idols are being destroyed right before everyone's eyes, showing you who the real Messiah is. And that he wasn't a so-called white man, that he was in fact a black man. having hair white like wool and feet like unto fine brass as if burned through a furnace. And all the images that they put up are being cast down. And we're just waiting for the day that Caesar Borgia in Rio de Janeiro gets brought down to a low. But you see, we bring out what the image of the Most High ought to look like, and they still want to continually go to them whorehouses. And they're going to be destroyed in them whorehouses. And most of it has to do with the women, because they seem to always want to go to church and sing in them choirs. Well, those days are coming to an end, and we can't wait till more get burned down. For all that, I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash, Barak Death to America, and death to you 2/3.